Good morning or good evening, everybody. It's been a hot minute since I've done a video, even though you are seeing, well, I hope you're seeing the USA adventure that we did last year. That's now getting dropped, and there's 70 episodes. So every Tuesday and Friday, the USA adventure drops. I think we're up to episode 45, so that will probably go on to August, and some great memories there. Today is something completely different, and I think it's time for me to explain a few things, my life and what's going on. But first, a lot of people say, Chris, where do you live? I live in a place called Newtown, which is just outside the CBD of Sydney, Australia. And this is a beautiful little 2-bedroom apartment. It's my little oasis and my little place where I love to be. Now, this is outside. I've got like a courtyard, and just over there, there's a pool and a gym. Not that I use them, I should. So this is my lounge room. Yes, it's very colourful. I like a lot of colour. I do all my artwork here, and I'm just preparing a book of boards. So this table is completely ruined, and so that's my lounge room. And here is my kitchen. Here's all my stuff getting ready for the ride. And I will be talking about, I've bought some heated socks, and I've got this heated vest because it's quite chilly at the moment in Australia. We're coming into winter and it's quite cold. So in my kitchen, I don't do a lot of cooking, so it's more of a library. There's my doorway there. Okay, so this is the second bedroom. And again, I just have all copies of my artwork and stuff. And here is some artwork that's ready to go out. I've got a present over there, and I've got a gig to go to tomorrow where I am going to present this band their pictures. And moving right along, it's the main bathroom. And my room, there you go. I've just had all those plantation shutters installed actually. And then of course through here is my bathroom and cupboard. That's my little 2-bedroom apartment. It's tiny, but it's certainly enough, and it's very colourful and eclectic. I also have a little place in the Blue Mountains, and that's done completely different. That's very country, a lot of cow skulls and cow hides and very rusticy. But let's have a look at these socks. So these socks, so this little power pack, which I've been charging overnight, gets plugged in and it's put on in the side of the sock. They only come in one size. You see me in all my glamorous undergarments. Apparently they heat up the bottom of my feet, which would be great. And the same virtually with the vest. Apparently heats the back and this area and the belly area. But I got that vest on Temu and it looks like shit, and I don't think it's going to work. So if it doesn't work, I'll be throwing it at the end of today's destination. And these socks are from Amazon. They were about $70 Australian. I will report back. I'm all dressed ready to go. The difficulty with the socks and pants are that I've had to wear the socks on the outside because I couldn't get to them to turn the battery on when they were under my jeans. And I don't want to turn them on now because I've got shit to do and I don't want my feet heating up now. Anyway, that's them. The vest on underneath, and I can actually access that heat power pack here. So hopefully that won't be too difficult. Well, I'm down in my cage. Calamity's here. I'm not taking Calamity today. There's a big gap there. It's because I'm taking Wally. As I'll explain later, there's going to be different rides for different bikes, and today is probably a leisurely ride down the south coast. I'll be on the bike for 5 or 6 hours and give him a really good run. Such a beautiful bike. Right, we'll go up into the street and I'll be turning on all my heated stuff to see how cold it is out there. Sounds so beautiful. You've got to get used to where all the things are. Okay, it's connected to my phone already. It's not that cold actually. I probably don't need all this rigmarole on me, but I'll need it for Goulburn in a few weeks, so it's a good test run. Okay, let's see how they go. My first big ride on this one. Still
traffic, I guess now's as good a time as any to start talking before I get on the freeways. As many of you know, some may not, Damien and I have decided to go separate ways. Living in two different states was a little bit too much. I was predominantly living in Victoria with him, probably 80% of the time, but I did have to come back to Sydney for family commitments and work. And Damien did offer to move to Sydney, which I didn't think was a particularly good idea, simply because, one, he'd have to find a place to rent. My place is too tiny. He has lived in Sydney before and didn't like it. And Damien loves to organise group rides with a whole bunch of fabulous Indian riders, and it's really good in Victoria. It's a great culture, and we don't have that in Sydney. It's a very divided riding community here and there. It's just different. Where in Victoria, it's just lovely. Everyone gets together, and Damien was very active in those groups organising rides, so I didn't respond very well to his offer because I just felt that it wouldn't have been good for him, for us. So I do still like a little bit of independence and a little bit of my time in my little apartment that you saw earlier. So we still remain very good friends, of course, and close. And while it's a little bit raw and sad at the moment, I'm sure both of us will move on to bigger and better things. When I was living in Melbourne, I bought a little scooter, an Aprilla 500, which goes like the clappers, to have as a bit of a runabout in Melbourne. And really dear friends of ours, Annalie and Steve sadly passed away, we organised a memorial ride for Steve. And I didn't have my main bike down in Melbourne, and it was fitting anyway that I ride Steve's bike, affectionately known as Wally. I ride Steve's bike and put Annalie on the back, and we go to Steve's last resting place, and we take the bike to a dealership where we possibly leave it for them to sell. Well, when I rode this bike and Annalie was on the back, I just thought it was the most beautiful bike I have ever ridden. After a bit of thought, Annalie leaned forward and said, you know, Wally would be so honoured if you were to buy this bike. And so this bike is now called Wally. So therefore I had two bikes in Melbourne. I had the scooter as a runabout, and I had this beautiful bike as a touring bike where we could go on great rides, and I left to Calamity in Sydney, and sometimes she'd be down there, vice versa, and I'd be riding backwards and forwards. So now I have a garage. I've gone from having one bike now to 4 vehicles. We've got 2 motorbikes and a scooter, a car, and the trailer. For those of you that are new to my channel or don't know much about me, I was originally known as the Aussie and the Indian, and then I switched that up to the barbering biker, and I came up with this idea of doing barbering around the country towns, which I still would like to do. But with I now have 2 Indians, but I also have the Aprilla scooter, and there's some great groups around Sydney that do fabulous little adventure rides, so I might do stories on the scooter. So thinking that I just needed a title that sort of was a bit more generic, not associated with a brand so much, in case I do start to ride other model bikes, and just different types of videos that I hope capture the essence of what I'm about. You know, I love people and history and trivia and discovering places. Okay, that's the city for you. So welcome to my new brand called the Creative Cruiser, and I've cut back on a lot of social platforms. I had like 4 or 5 Instagram accounts. I'm now down to really one for my bike riding adventures and another one on my art. And that was the other thing. I wanted to be able to start doing some art on my journeys, which is that aspect of my life. So I've got all these different areas of my life that I wanted something that would capture them all without me worrying about so many different platforms to post on. So if you're into motorbike riding, then you're in the right channel. If you're into art, you're on the right channel. If you're into meeting people and discovering places and trivia, you're in the right spot. So thank you for joining me. If you haven't subscribed, if you could please subscribe because it does help so much. Well, obviously there's still going to be loads of adventures with Calamity Jane. I've got some fabulous bookings coming up. I've got Cooley Rocks Festival where I'm appearing there with the Indian Motorbike Company, and I've also got Goulburn, the 100-year Grand Prix anniversary of Australian Motorcycle Grand Prix. That's in Goulburn. I'm with the Indian Motorcycle Company then as well. So those sort of things Calamity Jane is made for, because she's a show bike. And she is now, I think, the world's most famously awarded Indian motorbike. Not the fastest, but certainly the craziest. Oh, there's police everywhere. What's going on? Then there'll be rides on Wally. And these rides will be probably a little bit more reflective, talking about stuff. Where it's not so much a show, it's a bit more personal on things that are happening. There's the scooter rides, which I don't know yet what that's going to look like, and we'll see how we go with all that. It's a lot of work, social media, I must say, but since I've reduced some of the platforms, it's good. So I'm on Instagram, YouTube, obviously, if you're watching this, Facebook, of course, and now TikTok. When I do TikTok stuff, it becomes Reels on Instagram and Facebook. YouTube videos become Shorts for Reels and TikTok, so they all integrate, but it's still a lot of work. So get out of this traffic and let me come back with some more insights about what's happening. Oh dear, something's gone on there. There was a bike on the side of the road, but it didn't look beat up and I didn't see a rider. We're currently in the Royal National Park, so I'm obviously taking all the long way just to put Wally through his paces. It's just divine, beautiful. A bit of a speed demon place. It's a beautiful ride, but some people just take it too fast. Here we are at Bald Hill, probably one of the most premier spots for hang gliding in the world, they say, and they're off there doing it now. I'm going to do it one day. Apparently you can buy a session. So I will be riding down the coast down there through the Cliff Drive Bridge, which is an engineering masterpiece, but I have filmed that before. So beautiful Pacific Ocean. This is quite a popular spot for bike riders to stop, because they all ride through here, of course. And it's still lovely down there, but then I'll jump on the highway and make up some ground, and we'll see where else we can stop. So they've been on, not hot. Look, my feet aren't cold, but I'm not sure I've picked a particularly cold day, as it turns out. I haven't bothered turning on the vest, but my feet are sort of nice. They're not cold. So, but in a few weeks I'll be really testing them out, because I'll be going to Goulburn, which is freezing. Yeah, and there's 4 bars, it's up to 3. So I put them on full, so they probably only maybe get another couple of hours out of them. So I'm just about to go through Kiama Bends. Now on Calamity, I was always a bit tentative taking these bends. So let's see how I go on Wally. I've been enjoying the ride so much, I didn't even think to look at the fact that I'm just about on empty. And luckily, by the time I noticed it, a petrol station appeared. I'm just at Nowra, so I'm still like, I don't know, 2.5 hours away, but I'm just taking my time. And once again, I'll tell you, this is the most beautiful bike I have ever ridden. I could just keep going forever on it. Easier to turn, it's got that shorter rake. It's lighter, I can pick it up. I don't even mind going on gravel. It's smoother. It just glides. It's got heated grips. Oh my God, first time I've ever ridden with heated grips. And a heated seat, which I haven't turned on yet. I haven't worked that bit out. But my hands are toasty, beautiful. So it's quite frankly, it's a much better ride in my opinion. But I do miss the show that Calamity creates when she rolls into town. Mind you, this bike does capture a lot of interest from people. They still stand around and look at it. But Calamity is a bit of a showstopper. In Narooma, I'm only about probably, 40 minutes from Cobargo, and it's quite a nice little ride into it. Apart from my weekend rides, which will just go up randomly on my YouTube channel whenever they've been done, I want to do makeover Mondays or mad portraits. So I hope to post something about a makeover or a portrait that I've done. Wednesdays is going to be pictures about Wally, this bike, Wally Wednesdays. Then I'm going to have Throwback Thursdays, which is pictures from my past that have a bit of a story or a great memory. Then I've got Fake News Friday, which is some crazy Photoshop bullshit that was done years ago. I thought I'd make use of them again. And then don't forget, every Tuesday and Friday I have an episode of our 3-month tour of the United States and Canada, which drops. And from those I create little shorts and things. But I hope you've enjoyed. Well, it hasn't been much of a video, I know, but I just thought it was a chance to sort of bring you up to speed on what's happening in my life and what my plans are like as far as travel goes overseas. I don't know, there's a few people going back to America next year. I might share a piece of the container. I don't know. The American dollar is so low at the moment, it's crap. I am going to go to Tokyo, I think, go and visit my daughter and see if I can get some riding in there again. And it's been a great weekend away. I really needed this ride. My head needed it, my body needed it. I just needed to do it, and it's been so delightful. You're bored with me, I know, saying how wonderful, but this is dead set. This is the nicest bike I have ever ridden. Well, good morning. Sunday morning in Cobargo. I've put the socks on. I think I've worked out what I was doing wrong. And now I'm putting on the heated vest. Bit of morning dew, huh? Ooh. Yeah. And this has got heated grips and heated seats, so
built in.
It's luxury compared to what.
Oh, you don't have that on your other one?
No, I have no.
There's
no luxury on the
heated grips, and Jesus, that was good.
It was good. I used them for the first time coming down. I'm just sort of playing with buttons and testing things.
Yeah.
See what's what and how things work.
Dress fairing.
Yeah, well that goes up and down, that windscreen.
Oh, does
yeah, it's electric. It comes up. It's on the highway. I bring it up a bit. Yeah, it's got all the mod cons. So she started. It's been a very cold morning for Wally. I should say he, not she. And he started fine. He's been outside under just a bike cover. So, well, we're going to head back to Sydney today. I've just turned on the seat and putting on the heated grips. Bring them up to 10 because it's quite chilly. It'll get me a little bit of the way. So I'm going to put my jacket on. I'm going to fire that up. The socks are on and they seem to be heating the soles. It doesn't make them hot, but it just takes off the chill and they're comfortable.
But I know the story of the Indian.
Oh yes, yeah.
It looks comfortable.
Oh, it is. It's like a travelling lounge.
It's heated, Jean.
Oh,
you can heat it.
Yep.
How great's that?
Yeah. My bum's been very warm, as has my hands. Okay, ladies, thanks for chatting.
No, it was lovely. We're plodding through.
Well, here I am back in Newtown. I keep referring to this bike as her or she. So I've got to correct myself that it's a he, it's Wally. But in this day and age of transgender and all the different pronouns and he and him and they, maybe it's just going to be changing around a bit. Maybe it will be Wally sometimes, and maybe it will be after Anna Lee. I don't know, Annie Oakley, sister to Calamity Jane. But Wally, more so. But for some reason I keep saying, and she's going well and she's doing that. So I think they can share, because they've both been very instrumental in me having this bike, of course. So in honour of Anna Lee, there's a bit of Annie Oakley in this bike. And of course, in honour of Wally, it'll always be a ride for Wally. He certainly carved up the roads and all those, the National Park and the Kayama Bends and down into the Bega Shire. Everybody, thanks for joining me again. And thanks for your patience waiting for my regular videos to come out. Don't forget to watch the USA-Canada trip. I've loved reliving those, actually. I've loved watching them again. They've been great memories. It was a really, really good trip. That was a bucket list thing for sure.